Hello everyone. We're now going to be going over problem 3 of the finance review, and this one's a pretty simple problem. We had a lot of these questions in the homework for chapter 13, and essentially for this, the required return, we'll first start by taking down all the information we need. So what constant growth rate in dividends, so I'll do this. We'll first put growth, and we'll put a question mark here because that's what we're trying to figure out is expected for a stock valued at 20. So P0, so that's the price today, and it's valued at $32. So we'll make it with the dollar sign, so $32, and then is for if next year's dividend forecast is $2. So div in year 1 is $2. We'll make that $1 as well. And the appropriate discount rate is 13%. So RE is 13 or 0.03. So we will shift that to a percentage. And there we go. So now here's the question. What is the expected growth? Well, we can pull out our handy dandy sheet, and we know that the constant growth dividend discount model essentially gives us that the price of 0, or the price 0, equals the dividend at 1 over R minus G. And we actually have all of that already to an extent. It's going to be a slightly different formula this time, however. So what we're going to do here is we are going to kind of simplify the equation and make things a little easier by instead doing the dividend rate and then the growth rate and then adding them together. So we'll just put a plus sign. So the dividend rate, the growth rate, and then those together are going to actually equal our return on equity. So this is a lot easier to think about. Essentially, the return that investors expect comes down to two things. They expect the dividend payout and the growth payout. And that's going to give you the return on equity. So return on equity we know is 13%. We don't know the growth rate, but we can calculate the dividend rate. And the dividend rate is just the dividend in 1 year divided by the payout this year. And so that's that. So we're going to make that a percentage, and we're going to add some decimals. So what we have here is that the growth rate, if we kind of shifted this around, we could bring the growth rate out here by subtracting, and then we could subtract that and then divide by -1, or we can just intuitively see that it's going to be the return on equity minus the dividend rate will give us our growth rate, which our growth rate is required to be 6.75%. And that is how you do it. This was a pretty easy one. I would highly recommend just remembering dividend rate plus growth rate equals return on equity, or the investor's required rate of return, and that will really help you out. And make sure to do the Chapter 13 homework. It can really help you a lot on these type of problems.